Welcome back to the Next Average Podcast, episode 16 of the Shelby Nick Average Podcast, or as we call it, Aw Snap. Today is May.
I didn't warm up for the snap. That was my downfall. No!
Requiring at least 15 snaps before.
I know.
Your fingers should be raw by the time you did it.
All the technical difficulties behind the scene, trying to get everything working, and the one thing I messed up, and it's the most important thing.
It's literally the name of the podcast. Oh well, there's still the redemption at the end. Anyway, like I said, today is May 23rd because I like to forget it until like middle of the episode. And I know we have been MIA for the last almost 2 weeks, right? Has it been almost 2 weeks? I know we didn't record last week.
Yeah, it's only been 1 week. It's only been
only
1 week.
1 week. Okay. I know there was an episode last week. There was some stuff that we'll probably get into later on. But before we get too far, I do want to give a shout out. I told Nick about this shout out. Jason, my coworker, big fella, he's a Giants fan, and so I figure we can have a little something for him later on. But let's get out of here.
Yeah?
Dude,
Did you just...
That was the biggest build-up for a sneeze.
Oh,
I said Jason's name.
I thought you just let's get out of this, and then just mind blank, and just absolutely just nothing in there.
No, well, so I don't know if it sounded like it, but I was like kind of gearing up towards let's get out of this, and I was hoping I can just like kind of shove it back in, but nah, it had to come make its way out. But this is a pretty scuffed intro. Love it. Welcome to Snap, guys.
Yeah, we're gonna.
So
keep
let's
it.
get into something good. I'm not letting you down with that snap. The first like 5 episodes of this whole thing was so off and on for me. So it's nice to see a downside to your snap.
I get it. My snaps have been clean and crisp the last couple of times. I get it. I didn't warm up. That's on me.
That is on you. So, Nick, how you doing?
Shelby, I'm doing pretty well. I'm doing pretty good.
Okay.
School's ended.
What?
Love to see it. No longer at school, back home, living with the ma and the pa. Being
And
able to
OE.
and my dog. Missed my dog.
Hell yeah.
Living back here, being able to see everybody again. Don't have to worry about food, making food, buying food, you know. If I take if I take an extra hot, extra long shower, I don't got to worry about it. That's not my problem. And the best part about being home is the comfy bed. I forget because I sleep on the bed up there so much, obviously, like once or twice a day, as people would.
That bed is rough.
You just I just get used to the absolute concrete slab with a comforter on it, and that's about it. So I get like an inch of cushion with no leeway.
It's not so much the softness of it. What really gets me is the springiness of it.
Oh yeah. Oh no. I mean, it's
like
great for when you have a lot of energy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm telling you, when I jump off my chair and I'm able to bounce like 3 or 4 times on my bed.
I love that you're like on the 3rd floor. I bet they love that.
Oh. It's fine. It only happens at like 5 in the afternoon. It's not like I'm doing it at 7 in the morning or anything. Why would you want to, be loud at 7 in the morning? I can't imagine anyone who would want to do that.
What's going on here? I feel like that was slighted at someone.
I mean, it is. It is. I do know someone who would be loud at 7 in the morning. But, that's
someone that would perhaps sing and practice his plays at 7 in the morning.
It would, yeah, that would be an old roommate of mine. And, we got
Shout
through
out
it.
to C. Shout out to C.
I don't even know. It starts with a K. His name starts with a K. But second and foremost, it's just...
Really? He spells it that way?
Oh, well, yeah. If you'd meet him, I'm shocked you didn't guess that that's the way he spelled it. Because everything with him is a bit off.
Yeah, that's true.
So yeah, but
That dinner was so uncomfortable. What your brother said to him.
it just started off when the dinner at the very beginning was uncomfortable because like obviously my parents helped me move in and everything, so I got my parents and my family helped me move in, and my
Yeah.
parents were very generous and was like, we'll take you out to dinner, and he had already been moved in, and so instead of just like awkwardly like shunning him away, my parents very kind and generous were like, hey, why don't you join us along for dinner? And he accepted.
Yeah, come on, Kay.
It was just the dinner was awkward and everything. When I bring some friends over to the apartment, those conversations were very awkward. I mean, I very vividly remember like he would me and my friends would be talking and he just randomly like, you look like the type of person who would want to have what
What the hell is that?
okay.
First of all, same. Okay. I really can't think of a better like superpower to have that's
What, like
like
that's
useful, you know?
because that's the he said it in kind of like a sly tone is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
So we're all just like looking at him like I can't tell if that's a comp or not.
Regardless, I want to kick your fucking ass. Whichever way you meant it. I know what I mean, and that's business.
And so just from the beginning to the end, everything was just awkward. And even just after I moved out, he was like, "Hey man, I stole your ranch and your ketchup bottle. Do you want to come get them?" I was like, "No, I don't. I don't. You can have them."
I also like how he had his absolute hamburger meat hanging out. So when I say hamburger meat, because I know I have a bunch of just random sayings, I mean like gross chest hair. Not all chest hair is gross, but his was because he was wearing like a weird like Hawaiian shirt thing,
He always
and it
wears the
was
button
just
downs. It's always button down. So like at that point, yeah, he was wearing a Hawaiian button down, but he doesn't like to button like the top two buttons.
no, dude. It was like Magnum PI. It was like three, maybe even four button territory. I mean, his whole hamburger meat was hanging out, and it just I don't know, not a good look for the first time you meet someone. Because I thought you guys were like friends from high school or something. That's why I thought like your parents invited him over to dinner.
Yeah, no, we met in college and through a friend who is also up to this. So we'll see where that comes out from.
Oh fuck,
It's fine.
dude! Why did you stop me, bro? We just talked
It's fine.
ill on this
No.
dude
Oh, I
for
know.
like 5 minutes.
It's cool.
All right, well, anywho, I've been all right. I've been working a lot of hours recently. I've been having to afford a new motor and a supercharger, so all the hours is welcomed. So, like last week, I think I put in 56 hours in 5 days, and
Nice.
then last week was 60, or the week before that was 64 in 6 days, I think. So, yeah, I've been working,
Yeah,
working, working.
work has definitely gone up, going well, going from somebody who didn't have a job to now actually working again. But that also means that I'll have a lot more stories as well because
Oh, dude, especially where
I
you're at. Holy shit.
yeah, I work in a gas station that is in what the company likes to call an urban part of town, which essentially means that there's a bunch of homeless people and druggies essentially that like to frequent that store. And that just makes for just some interesting things that happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so going forward, expect the "How's you doing" to come with those sigh of "Boy, I tell you."
You will have you will yes, what happened this week?
My manager fought off a homeless guy
There
twice.
was during winter break when I was back working at the store as well. Manager had to fight a homeless drug addict in the parking lot. So that's just one of the many things that happens at the gas station that I work at. So
Mm-hmm. Shout out to urbans everywhere.
shout out
Always
to
keeping
people
us
who
on our
work in
toes.
urban. Shout out to the people who work in urban stores.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. But yeah, other than working and that, I mean, same old, same old. We got hit with a pretty nasty storm come last Sunday,
Yeah,
and I just want to tell some of the stories, or okay, a story, not some, a story I had. So I was working on my car, right, working my motor on that Sunday, and I have some people on my social medias that were saying like how nasty the storm was and whatnot. And I looked outside, perfectly clear. I was like, oh well, okay, must have missed me then. Shit, you not. Shit, you not. I was watching the end of the No, I wasn't watching it. I was watching the beginning of the Nuggets and um who they beat.
Timberwolves. Yeah, because I think it was Game 7.
Okay, so it'll be the Timberwolves.
Yeah.
Yes. So I want to be the Timberwolves. Who would it be?
No, that was the series. It was the Nuggets and the Timberwolves.
You're right. You're right. Yeah, wrong blue team. Yeah, so I was watching the beginning of that, and got a little bit. Then I saw Rudy Gobert do something stupid, so I just looked up to the sky as if it was Vegeta when he's getting rained on.
Mm-hmm.
Just in pure disgust. And I see how dark it all of a sudden got. I was like, okay, that's not good. And so I went out to the middle of my road, looked up in the sky, and hear the tornado sirens. And you can ask Nick, for whatever reason, my TikTok has been full of tornadoes, like tornado facts, tornado videos, and shit like that.
I
And
apologize
so
for
I've
the
been,
HP support assistant thing that randomly came up. I hope you guys cannot see this, but I severely apologize for that.
it's fine. It's a
But
podcast.
keep going about how you were in the middle of the street getting rained on.
Yes. So I looked up and looking pretty nasty now, storm coming in from both ways. So I have, like I said, my friends are in social medias are in two different parts of my state. So what happened was the storm came down from one of the friends, and then the other storm came to me, meaning I'm getting now hit with two different storms in the same damn place. And so I walked outside, staring in just looking at how nasty it looks out there, and I hear the tornado sirens. I looked at my neighbor, and he's like, "Oh, see." I was like, "Okay," and I don't have a basement, so I'm like, "Okay." I have a buddy that lives in town that has a basement, so I went to go there, and I called him, said, "Hey, I'm gonna come over." He's all right, cool. Looks pretty bad out there. I'm like, "Yeah, it does." And so I loaded up my dog, and then I had my two cats in one carrier, which they hated. Like they were straight fisticuffs as soon as I put the other one in there. And so my bigger cat, Eleanor, is just piecing the hell out of Kurt, my smaller one. As I was putting, Kurt was trying to run away. I'm like, dude, I ain't got time for this. So I just shoved them all the way in. I hear like the royal rumble of cats just in there. And I'm like, well, sorry guys, this is more important than your guys' little feud. And so I loaded them up. And mind you, there was like no wind, right? I got them, or like when I was hear the tornado sirens, there was no wind. And so then I went, loaded up the animals, backed out my drive, turned. Now there's rain. Okay, drove down a little bit down my road, then the main road. Then there's the wind, and I was like, okay, this is kind of scary. So I turned on the main road and went to turn right to down to my friend's house, and now I am now dodging trees and limbs as they're coming either at my car or already on the road. So just in the matter of the 10 minutes, let's be generous of a 10-minute drive. I went from no wind to tornado sirens to hella rain, hella wind. And so I got into the my friend's house, right? And I brought in my dog first. I was like, hey, just take him downstairs because he also has dogs. And so he loaded up his dog in the cage. And I went back to get my cats. Of course, still having a Royal Rumble in there. So they're just having 10 minutes straight of just someone getting their ass kicked. Who? Maybe it was both of them. But I went down and my dog has shit on my friend's floor, his stairs, and his downstairs.
Oh,
So three different
no.
times because he is terrified. He was so scared. So my dog already doesn't like car rides, and so I shit you not, dodge trees and shit like that. So I'm like driving pretty crazy to get to my friend's house. And so he went from I don't enjoy car rides to what the hell is going on? And so I opened up my car door and this mug takes off. Like just starts running. And so of course I feel like we're in the middle of a tornado. Turns out we're not, but it was straight winds. But it was scary as hell, so I had to chase my dog like damn near a block to get him, pick him up, throw him inside, so he was on 10. And yeah, I had to the whole time. My friend's like, "Hey, dude, you gonna clean up your dog shit, or are you just gonna leave that?" So shout out to him for letting me come over.
I didn't get to watch the progression like you did
It was
because
insane.
we got done eating. My family got done eating, and we look outside, and we're all like, "Oh wow! I mean, it's pretty dark outside." And I was like, "Yeah, well, I got to take a shower." So I enjoy long showers, and so it's probably 25, 30 minutes afterwards where I come out, and it is just downpouring. I mean, everybody's eyes are glued to the Weather Channel. It's downpouring. I was like,
You're
oh.
like, what the hell's going on?
Like my dad has a bunch of cars and a Harley Davidson, like a bunch of race cars and Harley Davidson. And at first, I like the thunder was so loud that at first I thought he was just like trying to start one of those in the garage that we have. And so I was like, okay. So after the first one happened, I was like, oh, I don't know if that was lightning or not. Now I'm still in the shower at this point. Our third one goes off, and I'm like, okay. My dad is pretty good at keeping things running longer than like 1 or 2 seconds. So that's God. And then as soon as I get done with that statement, one hit that it shook the floor and like the lights blinked and everything. And I was like, I'm in the shower at that point still like, oh no. Oh no. Please don't
Yeah,
turn off.
I talked to your brother who was, just a few miles from you, and
Mm-hmm.
he's like, "Yeah, dude, it was like a limb that fell off. Like it was nothing too major." And then my town is just like
Yeah,
damn near in shambles.
we just got a lot of rain. Yeah, we didn't get no trees and dodging limbs left and right to fight for our
Dude, it
lives.
was insane. Yeah, I guess there was a small town about 10, 15 minutes from me. I guess there was a tornado touchdown there. And that's what triggered the sirens. And then there
Mm,
was reportedly another tornado about 10, 15 minutes north of that. So
wow. So
yeah, it
I
was
mean,
pretty
you
much
really got
on the north side and the south side of where I live. And like
uh,
northwest, southwest of us, not like pinching us.
Yeah. Wow, that's insane.
Yeah, like Jason, for instance, his power was off for like 3 days, and
Oh
he just
my
went shopping
God.
and stuff. Yeah, dude. So all of them groceries are done.
Yeah, that's tough. All that meat and everything that you just buy, done
Yeah,
for.
exactly. Exactly. And we didn't have Wi-Fi. I know this sounds like like world problems as hell, but we didn't have Wi-Fi for like 4 days. Like it literally just came on yesterday. So I guess
Thanks.
three, yeah, I guess 3 days.
So what'd you do for those 3 days, you know? If you don't have Wi-Fi, there's like nothing to do nowadays.
So I hung out with the girl one of those days.
Mm-hmm.
And
That's probably a
then,
smart move. That's a smart move.
yeah, then other than that, it was
And then you
about
just twiddled your
that.
thumbs for 2 days.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much.
Solid. Solid.
No. But I think as we're talking about Jason, let's get into his Giants. New York Giants.
Which,
So Jason
okay.
is a giant, pun intended,
Okay.
New York Giants fan. And
Okay.
he,
Okay.
ever since he figured out that I have a podcast, he's been asking me, he's like, so what's your thoughts on this? What's your thoughts on this? And I felt kind of not wrong, but it's nice to have the N to my S there. So let me
Mm-hmm.
ask you some of the questions that he was asking me.
Okay.
So the
Okay.
first question was, have you seen the new uniforms that they're
I
doing for
have
their
seen the
100th season?
I have the like throwback uniforms to when all the pictures are black and white and the helmets are just leather caps. I've seen
Yes,
those.
Leatherhead.
I've seen those.
So what's your thoughts on those?
My thought is that they look soccer jersey.
Yeah,
I
yeah, I
they're
didn't
just
think about that. That's
very
true.
they're just very simple. Just the red with the white lines and the blue in the middle. Numbers are kind of weird. Me personally, not a fan. But I get normal than their normal jersey. So, because I'm also not a fan of their normal jersey as well. But I also understand that they can't really change that because that has so much history behind it.
Right, right. I like it. I like a bit of everything of it, except for the pants. I hate the pants. And I think they'd be sick if they're like red or like even a blue, maybe a stripe or something. And I get
I
why
don't
they did it,
think I think I only saw a
A jersey?
jersey. Oh, okay. I see him. Like the tan colored pants.
Yes.
That's weird.
That is
I thought
weird. And it's
I definitely
just
thought they
not
would have been
okay.
like blue pants. I
No,
definitely thought
dude.
because the picture that I saw hilarious, 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 hilarious to me. Anything with Daniel Jones in it, hilarious to me. But it was only the like jersey up.
No, dude. It's I don't know. I like the I don't know, the helmet did it, you know, but the pants just throw off the whole thing. I really don't like it. I don't know. I'd be interested in seeing jerseys like that again. The thing is, it can't be everyone. It needs to be just like a
No,
little
it can't
splash,
be.
you know,
Yeah, yeah.
because then you get a whole black jersey debacle, and it's so over it. I am so over black jerseys, dude. But yeah, so there's that. He asked me, okay, so this is more so my boss. He asked, of course, anytime someone learns that you like sports, their first instinct is, who's the GOAT? Right? Which
Yes.
we said before, we hate this conversation because there's just so much different stuff that goes off of it, especially in this instance, the football GOAT. So, what what would you classify as like the GOAT? Like for football?
I mean, if I don't necessarily know what you mean by what would I classify. Like, if you're just asking who I think it would be, just off the top of the head, I mean, Tom Brady's the easy answer to go to. But I mean, I would hear conversations, or I would hear out arguments for Joe Montana, but
Yeah.
I don't know, because I think, like, we've talked about this before, GOAT and MVP are primarily quarterback things. Like, if you say who's the GOAT, nobody's going to talk about defense. Defense? No.
Right.
I can't tell you, like, me and you've talked before, I can't tell you how many players we would have to go through on, like, a top 50 or a top 100 players of all time before a defensive player shows up. Just because everything is so offensive-minded and whatnot.
Well, not only that, but what's funny is it's the, like, on defense, like, well, defense is like a team sport, but then nothing really gets said on offense because I feel like you can demonstrate your abilities. Like, if I'm going to use Richard Sherman for an instance, there's quarterbacks that won't even test the right side of the ball or right side of the field.
Yeah. It's hard to get stats because it's hard to get stats because when you do your job correctly, you shouldn't get stats.
Yeah, exactly. Like Revis, Daryl Revis on Revis Island. I mean, everyone knew. It's like, okay, well, wherever he's at, I'm not going to throw to it. And so he may only have three, tipped passes or something, but those are the only three passes he got the whole game.
Yeah.
Where with quarterbacks, like, it's instant gratification, it's instant touchdown, instant yards, touchdown, like, it's right there in your face. So I don't remember what he said, but I know my boss said some dumb shit, but he's also the guy who said, I know I told you this. Do you remember the name he said? It was something ridiculous. Oh, Jerry West is better than LeBron James.
he said Jerry West was a top 3 player in the NBA all time.
Yeah. And here's the thing. You figure he's be like 70. No, he's like 40.
I'm telling you, you put like a young Jerry West. As I say, you put like a young Jerry West, and the max you're going to get in today's NBA is going to be like a TJ McConnell type performance.
Dude, he's Heinrich.
Kirk Heinrich? Oh,
Kirk Heinrich. He is Kirk Heinrich.
I love that.
He's Kirk Heinrich, but Heinrich can hit his damn free throws. I mean, like, there's no comparison. And again, this goes into the whole why the GOAT debate is so dumb because, like, Jerry West was a dog for the 60s and 70s. Actually, I think it was before that, like 50s and 60s. But it's unfair to, like, can you imagine if we put damn Luka Doncic in that league? You thought Wilt was putting up numbers, dude. Luka would be buried at the stake. They would think he's a witch.
Witch.
They would tie a rock to his witch. They would tie a rock to his ankle and drown him in the harbor.
I'm not even like, yes, Luka, but like, imagine like a Shaq.
Shaq against like maybe 6'3" players.
Like people who have just gotten off working, suiting up for a professional game. And they look across the court and they see prime Shaq getting ready, dude. And instead of layup lines, it's dunk lines for him. And that dude would easily have like a 40-40 game.
Yeah, dude, Shea would be like one of the greatest centers of that generation. Like, I mean, put Shea, put Anthony Edwards. I mean, any guard that's good in the post. If you put damn Jalen Brunson, he's going to go out and be a Hall of Famer 4. So there's that. Damn, now I'm completely blanking.
So all of this came from the Giant and your coworker.
Yes.
Because we talked about the jerseys, and now they look like. I said they look like soccer jerseys. Not a big fan. You said the pants look weird.
The pants are hard ass.
Mm-hmm. Uh-huh.
Yeah, Panther trash. So other than that, I can't. I know I have some other things, but I can't think of them. So
Okay, I
let's
think
probably stay
because
on the.
you talked to me about like a top 3 things. Are we still wanting to do that? Because I
Okay.
mean, top 3 things about the Giants. The one,
Yeah, yeah. I forgot about that. Let's do it.
the fact that I play it's priceless. It's priceless.
Yeah, if you
Not
ever
literally.
wonder what Nick looked,
Not yeah. If you ever wonder
it's
what I look
Daniel
like,
Jones.
just imagine a shorter, more Midwestern Daniel Jones. That's what I look like. That's what I look
That's
like.
fair. Okay, so I think we should take turns. So yours is you play for the Giants.
Yep. They signed me to a 4-year, 40 contract.
Hell yeah, dude.
So mine is probably the Victor Cruz era. I was telling Jason that Victor Cruz salsa had my elementary school in a grip. Like anytime someone did something, it would just bust out the salsa because of him.
Yep. Going off of that, number 2, I actually two Giants play football.
Okay.
I became a Giants fan. I became a football fan based off of Victor Cruz and Mario Manningham.
Nice. Nice. Is Manningham the one with the helmet catch?
No.
No, that was I was
It was like David
The
Tyreeker, I
third like
believe.
receiver. I have no idea. Jason, tell me next time you're at work when you should watch this.
David
I'm sure you will.
Tyree. I was right. I just added a K where there was no K. It was David Tyree.
Mm. Hell yeah. Yeah, dude, that was such an awesome Super Bowl.
It was, and it was the first thing I actually paid attention to.
This is gonna sound backhanded as hell, but I think my second is the hardcore debates about how much Eli Manning sucked I had in middle school. Like we would have like damn near death matches over how bad he sucked in middle school. It always made the lunchroom more fun. So I appreciate Eli Manning.
I really enjoyed because it's the same thing with me, but instead of it being Eli Manning, I really enjoyed the conversations that I would hear with the media with Tom Coughlin, because he had like never really had like that season, right? There
Okay.
wasn't no season where he went like 15-2, 14-3, but he had 2 Super Bowls. Now, he had 2 Super Bowl rings, but every single one of his seasons was like 8-9, 6-10, 7-9. He was just during the regular season. He was such a mediocre coach, but yet he had 2 Super Bowls. And so hearing the media like fight back and forth whether or not he was an actual good coach was just priceless.
Right. Yeah. He would just like turn his damn hat backwards.
When it comes to the Patriots, like he just hated them. Ooh. Okay, I'm gonna have a third one, then I'm gonna have an honorary mention because I don't think you'll bring this up. My third has to be the fact that they took down the Patriots, but then me being dumb. So they won in '08, they won in 2012. I bet someone in the beginning of the school year, I was like, in 2016, I was like, I bet the Giants go to the Super Bowl. And I was like, it's every 4 years. They got it. Just for them to like have an atrociously bad season. 2016.
Happens to the best of us.
Here, as you say yours, let me look up the 2016 Giants record.
I was
Oh,
very happy
never mind.
because I don't remember. I think it was when they got the Saquon Barkley pick at number 2 because of their atrociously bad season. And
Right. So yeah, it would be the 20. No. in 2016, 2017, they were actually pretty good. They got the 11-5. Yeah, so they're pretty good.
So you were
But they
close.
didn't win the Super Bowl. Yeah. Thanks, Giants. Now I just look like an ass.
Yeah, to that one kid that you bet back in middle school or high school.
Yeah, I lost like $20. Bullshit. But sorry, I cut you off. You were saying?
Oh, you're good. The Giants' history is one of the best things to look at because of how up and down they are. They're never consistent unless it's consistently ass.
I was just thinking of poor Jason.
These last couple years. Yeah, these past couple years. It's it is a bad time to be a Giants fan right now. That is.
So I have 2 honorary mentions. One, thank you, Giants, for allowing me to win the football fantasy league that me and Jason was in. That he made. It was a jersey league, so I won a jersey because about middle of the season I realized that the Giants are atrociously bad, and so I would pick the defense of whoever they're playing and consistently have one of the best defenses of fantasy. So thank you for that, and then also thank you for what's his name, Jason Pierre-Paul, for making me terrified of throwing fireworks and respecting them because he blew up his hands. From here
on out. Yep, from here on out.
When that happened, I saw his glove and I was like, what the hell? And then I learned that he blew it up with a firework. I was like, yep, nope, from then on I will be respectful of him.
Yep.
And I have.
Yep.
All right, well, do you have any other ones?
We're going to kind of move on from the Giants a little bit, get into some of the schedule releases.
Okay.
Next week I'll have, because we're kind of running a little bit out of time here with all this, Giants fun and Giants slander.
I love
but
it.
The schedule releases came out week 1, the very first game is going to be the Baltimore Ravens at the Chiefs. Now, that one has got to suck for Baltimore. I mean, just the team that you lost to by a touchdown, by one play. I guess there's 2 plays that you could look at, but just 1 or 2 plays that could have been differently, and you could have been headed to the Super Bowl instead of the Chiefs. And now you have to go visit them on their ceremony night just to rub it in, just to rub in the salt.
That is true, but then they have Derrick Henry, and Chiefs defense is never good in the first part of the regular season. So I'm expecting big numbers out of Henry that week.
And then on Monday Night Football, Aaron Rodgers gets a chance to make history, to be the first person to tear his Achilles on back-to-back Week 1 footballs.
Back-to-back. Dude, that'd be insane.
Because the New York Jets go against one of, if not the top defensive line in the league. And the best part is, the player who played on the Buffalo Bills, who tore Aaron Rodgers' Achilles last season, is now on the 49ers, who they play Week 1 on Monday Night Football.
That's such a tough game to come back to, too. Present, there has been a second torn.
So, all of stars are lining up for the same person who tore Aaron Rodgers' Achilles last week on Monday Night Football during Week 1 to do it yet again on Monday Night Football Week 1. I just find that hilarious.
Back to back.
I find that hilarious.
Jason, 13 seconds, dude. I bet the I think it was the over on Aaron Rodgers passing yards because it was like 150. I was like, surely he gets more, right? No, no, he doesn't. He does not. Speaking of that, has there been any updates on Greenlaw?
There has not that I've seen.
Yeah, I haven't
Because
seen
obviously,
anything
like
either.
you said, Dre Greenlaw tore his Achilles in the Super Bowl. I have not seen a single thing about it.
Well, best of wishes. Speed
Yeah,
recovery.
I hope he comes back. Or I mean, hope he's back by the time team plays football.
Right. So last year, the NFL teams were releasing their schedule, specifically the Chargers, as like
Yes,
anime. That was so damn cool.
it
And
was cool.
now
I feel like this year's schedule releases have been very lackluster.
overdone. That's the problem. So the Chiefs released one of them pressing like objects of that team, whether it be like I'm trying to think of one. Yeah, just pressing random thing. Like New Orleans was beads from Mardi Gras, and like the hydraulic press, the one that just doesn't care. It's just gonna
Oh
press whatever the
yeah,
hell.
yeah.
Like out of all the things you could have done, you did that. Like that's boring as hell.
Washington Commanders did a reel or cake video with certain objects that represent the other team.
I did not know that. See, but here's the thing too. I feel like they're going to TikTok with like Chargers releasing anime intros was amazing because no one
Oh, it was very
expected
cool. Yeah, no, it was
anime
very cool.
intros of it. Now they're just like like now there's going to be a soap cutting thing, and it's just going to be straight up TikTok ideas that they ripped.
Yeah, because it's like you said. I mean, just the videos that I've seen, the cake or reel or cake videos from the Commanders, the 49ers schedule release video was very underwhelming. Essentially, it was just one of their so I think it was one of their social media interns trying to like role play as Nick Bosa, and that's all it was.
Oh,
And
I
then
haven't
later,
seen that one.
later they came out with like an animated schedule release.
Yeah, probably because it sucked.
Oh, it did. It was not good.
Yeah, that's tough.
But I mean, other than that, just schedule releases come out. TAs have been going on, so we're starting to see players and jerseys. Like you said, the big one right now that ESPN and Adam Schefter and everybody are on about is Derrick Henry and the Ravens uniform.
Yep.
But we're seeing a lot of rookies and what number they're going to wear. They had their little like photo shoot and whatnot. And then, lastly, I do want to mention that we've talked about Scotty Barnes on this channel before, and how we love Scotty Barnes.
Yes. There's an
Me,
NFL version of him.
me and Shelby think we have found the NFL version of Scotty
There is no
Barnes.
think.
Because the things that Keon Coleman says, the rookie wide receiver for the Bills, they are hilarious. And talk about his codes, like, oh, I got this from Kohl's, it is a deal. Or like with like fans sending him care packages, and he's like, I had a box of Chips Ahoy cookies at my locker. I thought I was tripping. It's like, what?
Dude, have you seen the one where he was taking a tour of the Bills facility? And there's like the cold room, which is pretty much like a walk-in freezer. And he's like, "Oh shit, freezing my jacket." He just comes out. I mean, it's like, "This ain't cold." He's like, "Well, it's not on." He's like, "That joint's cold." Yes, Keon. You're exactly right.
After the interview,
I hope he's good. So he just
I really do as
stays
well.
in that.
Because he's so funny. And like that, the cold room in the Bills, after an interview, he got up and was like, "Are those can I eat those snacks?" Looked off to the side and started opening the snacks and eating it. It's just, dude is funny.
Dude is so funny. Yeah, dude kicks ass. But so you said that was the last one for the NFL, though?
Yes, that is it for the NFL.
All right. Let's get in some nibba.
So, right now, today is today is May 23rd. May 23rd. And the conference finals are going on right now. On the Eastern side, you got the Pacers and the Boston Celtics. Actually, right now, as we're talking, Game 2 is happening in that series. But we're going to talk about kind of like what we saw between how these teams got there.
Okay.
So obviously, the Pacers got there by beating the Knicks. And personally, I think this was less of the Pacers getting to the Western Conference Finals or of the Eastern Conference Finals, and more of Tom Thibodeau's coaching coming back at him.
Yep.
I mean, by the end of the series, Jalen Brunson was hurt, OG Anunoby was hurt, Josh Hart was questionable, obviously Julius Randle had been out, Dante DiVincenzo was dealing with injuries.
Dude, that was so sad watching the end of that game.
It was.
He was trying so damn hard.
That's because me and you have been talking about that for a long time. Like, this is going to happen. When is it going to happen? Because it's going to happen.
Yep. And especially with their lack of depth. I mean, even if one does go out, there's not really the next man up mentality because they're already up.
Yeah.
There's no other men.
When OG Anunoby went out and Josh Hart was not playing in a game, oh my Lanta. They might as well have thrown me in the starting lineup.
I think they did. I mean, there's some of the people that are on the Knicks.
It was bad.
Yeah,
and so I mean, credit to the Pacers. They've been credit to the Pacers, but games against them, but to say towards the end of it, it was not the Knicks. It was bits and pieces. Just like the N, the C, and the S.
I would say it was the X. Yeah, I don't know because the Pacers. I mean, they were real, they fought through adversity, and they came in being the underdogs to, just about every game they played, and they still managed to come out with something. But if you look, and I hate to be that guy that's like, well, they don't deserve this because obviously injuries could happen to them too. And Tyrese Halliburton has not really had a Tyrese Halliburton game this whole season or this whole postseason because he is playing through injury. So I'm not making up excuses for the other teams, but I mean they went through the Bucks who had Giannis hurt, they had Dame hurt, Chris Middleton I think got hurt or someone else got hurt towards the end. Then
I know Bobby Portis got ejected on a pivotal game 4.
Yeah, I don't know. It was something like that. So, their path was pretty injury prone, but, that kind of comes in the territory of look at all the teams that are playing. I mean, you have the Knicks who was playing damn near, 48 minutes, unless you're Josh Hart, then you were playing 48 minutes a game.
Yeah.
You have Tibbs doing Tibbs. Then you have the Bucks, who are an older team, who injuries catch up with you when you're playing high minutes, high stress like that. And the Pacers is probably top 5 youngest teams in the league. And so that just kind of proves to them that, they're young and gun, and that's what they do. They get fast break points and shit like that. So once you have someone that's tired or old, I mean, that's when youth comes in handy. So really, I don't remember the name of the coach, but hats off to him for having the withal to be like, hey, let's play to our strengths. Because going into the season, they were never, or throughout the season, they were never that good of a defensive team. But you saw they can lock it up when they need to.
Yeah, the coach of the Pacers is Rick Carlisle.
That's who for whatever reason, did he ever coach the Mavericks?
Yes, he did.
Okay, that's why I still correlate him with the Mavericks. Okay.
Yep.
I always forget Jason Kidd's in charge of the Mavericks, and so I always just instantly think of Rick. But I mean, he's coaching one hell of a team, dude. And unfortunately, they're going against the juggernauts of the East. But who knows? I mean, if Jaylen Brown goes down, Jason Tatum, Drew Holiday, I think Porzingis is either down or dealing with shit now. I mean, it's one injury away from being just like the Bucks and being just like the Pacers.
Well, it is funny that you talk about injuries because what I've seen is that have got two teams that have gotten to where they are because of injuries. And I don't necessarily agree with that with the Celtics, but like you said with the Pacers, I mean, when the top 2-3 players are down on the teams that you won, I can see that argument. But the Celtics, because they went through the Heat that didn't have Jimmy Butler, and they also went through the Cavaliers who, during Game 4 and 5, did not have Evan Mobley or Donovan Mitchell. So it's so funny because I've seen multiple things where it's like, I can't wait for the Celtics to get to a team that's not injured and they end up losing. And same thing with the Pacers where it's like, I can't wait to see them get to or face a team that's healthy and they end up losing.
Mm-hmm. It's really the tale of two cities, though, because me personally, I haven't heard any slander on the Celtics. It's all been just, they're really good, which they are, but that's all I've heard is just how good they are. But with the Pacers, it's always, it's this, it's that, it's that, So it's just really, like I said, the tale of two cities.
Yeah, so both those teams in the Eastern Conference Finals right now. Game 2 is going on as we speak, but Boston is up 1-0. On the Western Conference side, I would just like to say, before we get into anything, I'm just going to throw it out there at the beginning. I don't know how much I'm going to talk about it, but I'm going to try. I'm going to try to do my best to just throw it out there, not mention it again, for the sake of my co-host. I like this. I like this friendship to last outside of this podcast as well.
I'm pretty much taking Nick on a date.
But
I'm paying for dinner and ice cream.
It feels good being 2-0. It feels so good. We kart race. Things happened. I won the go-kart race. Talked about who would win, Mavericks or the Thunder. And I would just like to say that everything that I talked about on the came through.
Yeah.
I said Mavs in 6. They won in 6. I talked about the Mavericks. Everything that I talked about on the Mavericks. Because I talked about the Mavericks for a good amount of time.
Yeah.
PJ, Derek Lively came through. Derek Lively and Daniel Gafford made Chet Holmgren earn his money during that series.
He was put through the ringer, dude.
Yeah, Chet Holmgren. There was a couple games where Chet Holmgren. I remember one part during Game 2 when me and you were watching it together, and Chet Holmgren went up for a rebound and fell to the floor, and both of us saw his head bounce, and then the camera on top of the stadium was looking straight down at Chet, and I definitely thought both pupils were in one eye. That dude looked loopy as hell.
What
on the
did you
floor.
say? He was something away from being Tua.
Well, he was like, I know what I said. If he would have hit his head any harder, he would
Oh,
have
okay,
been
maybe
Tua.
that's what it was. Throwing up gang signs in Oklahoma.
Yeah, on third. Yeah, it was bad, and just to see him like bounce up and start running again, both me and Shelby were both like, "Oh, that doesn't seem like a good idea."
Yeah, it's like this is. You guys have to check him out. I mean, I know he's a goofy looking guy as it is. Anyone with a brain would be like, okay, that's obsessive. We got to do something about that.
But so
But I did
Shelby
see
has
some
to
stuff.
Shelby has
I
to take me
know.
to dinner at Buffalo Wild Wings and then ice cream at Cold Stone afterwards.
Luckily, those are in like pretty much the same parking lot. So
I know. I get to go on a date and not have to put anything out. This is gonna be nice.
that's what you think. But I saw a thing where the Thunder's thinking about maybe drafting Zach Edey,
Okay.
and I don't know. I don't know. That team is so tough because there's so much good components, but they just need differently. You know, one you should get Jalen Williams, the center. He is a great locker room guy. At least he seemed like he has tons of fun and all that. But I swear, Nick, if that man is getting starter minutes next year, I'm gonna lose my damn mind. I'm gonna lose my damn mind, dude. Kyrie could post him up and do damage. It is ridiculous.
Jalen
It is
Williams, the backup
ridiculous.
center, reminds me of like a Boban. Like you said, a great locker room
Yeah,
guy,
but at least
always lifts the
Boban was huge.
spirits and has fun. But like he shouldn't
Dude, that's
really touch the
undersized.
court. He shouldn't really touch the court.
Yeah,
Because like Boban has his downsides as well. So like when he comes in, it's more of like a yeah, more than
I
like
would
a,
say
oh,
it's
thank
the
God
man
we
that
need
can
him in
hold
there.
306 goldfish in his hand. Then you have
But just
Jalen Williams who just does. You know,
that
just
dude,
does. I don't know what he does. I don't know what he doesn't, but he just does.
that dude needs to just be at the end of the bench and just have a good time. And that's what he needs to get paid to do. Just have a good
He
time.
needs. He reminds me of the whole New York or Brooklyn Nets when D'Lo was there. You know, when they're just having fun and clearing the bench. That's what
Yeah.
he reminds me of as just a player. He
Watching
just goes out there and has fun.
watching that whole Thunder team, it was hard to go like root against him. It really was.
I don't
Because
know.
of
You did a
like
pretty good job of
seeing
it.
how
Every
well
time it's she's a
that's because
bum. Damn free throw merchants. That's not a foul.
well, just because I'm educated in my trash talking doesn't mean that it wasn't hard. Because seeing how much fun they have in like interviews and whatnot, and how they like no longer do the national broadcasting, and they always interview with like their local broadcasters, just hilarious. And
What's
the
awesome about that,
the
and we talked about it
barking,
before, but is the fact that like they're now small market because you know Oklahoma City is a small market. It's Oklahoma, you know,
yeah.
and small market team. That broadcaster that does the town is now blowing up because of them, and it
Oh,
shows like the
1000%.
love that Oklahoma gives and receives. Like after they just lost the series, people met them at like 2 or 3 in the morning at their airport to like welcome them in. I
Yeah.
mean, there's maybe I'm biased, but there's really not better fans in the league of NFL or NBA
And well,
that's
I
so
mean,
die hard for them.
there's also like two sides of the coin as well. When the Clippers lost to the Mavs in six, I was seething because that was supposed to be a team with championship aspirations. When the Thunder lose, like they're a young team. They were a young team. They were a 1 seed. Like they're gonna be up there for a long time. It's only gonna be a year or two before they make the conference finals, the NBA finals. The only
That
thing
is
Sam
true, but
Presti
they
has
did the
to do
same
is
thing.
just fill in the holes and not blow up when they face the next generational talent. Would not absolutely blow up when Victor Wembanyama defeats them in 7 games.
Yeah, that is true.
I mean,
That
because
is true. So
realistically, it's that like the young Thunder with James Harden and Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook should have worked out as well. I mean, high seed, young team, and we're seeing glimpses of that. Not necessarily the same talent that was there, or like the same players, I should say, but like the talent is there. You get Shea 1 or 2 more years, he's already an MVP finalist. I don't necessarily know how much more growth he's gonna have, but Josh Giddey more growth. Jalen Williams more growth. The forward, not the center. The only
Casey
growth
Wallace,
he
dude.
needs.
I love Casey
Jason
Wallace.
Wallace, yeah.
Casey
Jason
Wallace,
Wallace,
Isaiah
yeah.
Joe, like them two are like my bench pieces, or two of some of my favorites in the whole league. I mean, they just
Yeah.
do what they need to do, you know.
I say the Thunder have very good aspirations for many years to come. I mean, there's a
Yeah.
reason why it seemed like every Thunder's game they talked about the youngest team to do this and the youngest team to do that.
Oh, dude, I'm so tired of that. That LeBron ass stat.
But I mean, it's true, and it just shows that like they're gonna be around for many years. I don't know if I'm gonna make that same bet with you next year that I did this year. I couldn't tell you
I
if
hope
the
so. You can't. I can't end in a loss, and you can't end on a win. So, because
well, yeah, because if you
forever.
can't end on a loss, because I mean you can't end on a loss. But if you're winning, you're on a hot streak, and well, you can't let the hot streak die.
Exactly.
So we're just caught in this perpetual loop of sports gambling.
Hell yeah! At least this time it'll just be like a date night and not my mortgage. So I could still sleep somewhere.
That's what you think. It only goes up from here, Shelby. It's time to lock in when we watch these teams. You better be doing your research.
I bet the Chet's gonna have 16 points.
I'll be like, I'll take that bet because don't you know on waning moons in the middle of on waning moons in the month of February that Chet is averaging 12 points a game?
Waning moons. Like shit. It's like no wonder you won, dude. He's like looking at the moons and shit. I can't even tell you what a waning moon is.
So the Mavericks beat Thunder 4-2. On the other side, that Nuggets and Timberwolves matchup, the last time we talked about it, me and you said that the Timberwolves would win easily. That's how long ago it was. Like this 2 weeks ago, we said that the Timberwolves would win that series easily. Well, sitting here on May 23rd, the Timberwolves did not win that series easily. The Nuggets came out, and they reminded that they are in fact the Denver Nuggets.
Yeah, this is true. Dude,
I mean,
love just the drama behind the Wolves. It feels like this Wolves team has beef with everyone they face.
especially Anthony Edwards.
Yeah, dude, Anthony just does not care. He's literally Anthony Edwards plays himself in Hustle, and who's the is it Willie Hernan Gomez? Is that the other person?
Yeah.
He is the rest of the league. Like Edwards is out for blood, and he has to be related to Jordan because I think Jordan's giving him some insight. Like, hey, say this. This pisses everyone off. Hey, do the G Generation X taunt in a league, in an NBA game.
The trash talking Kevin Durant is one thing, but to then go around and Jokic and trash talk Jamal Murray, especially after a loss, nonetheless. I mean, the Timberwolves had lost, and Jamal Murray said something, and Anthony Edwards was not afraid to just turn around and, like, you know, trash talk back and, like, all right, we'll see what happens next game.
Yeah.
One of my favorite things is that after the Game 5 loss, Anthony Edwards told the Denver locker room staff, "We'll see you back here for Game 7. Don't worry."
Dude,
That's
just
so
cold-blooded,
hard.
dude.
That's so
Bring your
hard.
ass.
Don't worry, we'll see you for Game 7. Game 6 hasn't even started yet. And Game 6 is like 2 or 3 days away, and he's already like, "We'll see you here for Game 7. Don't worry."
Yeah, dude, I bet that person's like, okay. They win game 6, is like, oh shit. It's just got real.
Yeah. Well, and they not only did they win Game 6, but they blew out the Nuggets Game 6 as well.
Yeah, I think they said the average win for that was 15 points apart or something. It was
That's insane.
Yeah, for 7 games, I think it was the highest point differential.
So I have a LeBron and Mahomes stat for Jokic.
Okay, let's hear it.
And I saw it, and it was Game 6 when they lost by 40 points or whatnot. They were like, "This is the largest loss by an MVP during the playoffs. I think it was ever. Maybe it was since some time, but it's that this is the largest loss that an MVP has had in the playoffs." Who keeps track of that?
Well, I don't know. Also, because when Jokic won his first MVP, it was the same thing. The reason why he won is because he was so good that he kept his team afloat, and now ever since then he just became the best player in the league. You know.
Yeah.
But that first year where I think he got swept by the Suns, I want to say. You know, everyone's like, "Oh, that's a fake award." Da, 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 da. It's that doesn't matter, and you have to. It's all about context. You have a rising superstar in an already really good team. That's not a bad thing to lose, and you still made it that far. You know, if he would have lost first round to an 8 seed or 7 seed, wherever seed they were, that makes sense. But it's they're acting like it's the end of the world, and it's just real hyperbolic.
So that series was very entertaining to watch. Like you said, one of the origins of victory for a series, because it was that everybody knew who was going to win the game 7 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Because every game was a double digit there, where you think okay, well this team, I remember telling myself during the Nuggets or during the Timberwolves when they were at home court, and be like, well, the Timberwolves, they can go on a run here, kind of get the game close, and then they'll have the home court behind them. And then just Jokic and Murray would keep the lead out, and you just be like, well, maybe they can. Maybe they can. Maybe they can. And they just never did.
Yeah, the first game was 106-80, Wolves won. The second was hold on. No, sorry, that was game 2. It doesn't say game 1. Game 2 was 106-80. Game 3 was 117-90 Nuggets. Game 4 was Nuggets 115-107, so a close one there. Game 5 was 112-97 Nuggets. Game 6 was 115-70 Timberwolves, and then obviously 98-90 Wolves.
Yeah, so the least amount of margin was 8 points. in a
Yeah.
playoff matchup, in a playoff series nonetheless, and
That went to
6
7.
games. Or 7 games, yeah, 7 games. So the Western now as it stands, the Mavericks are up 1-0 in that series.
Mm-hmm. I'm very
And
excited about that series.
I have the Mavericks. I'm a fan of the Mavericks. Not just because of the bet, but just watching Luka over and over again. You just think to yourself, like, what and not do?
What's really crazy is so Luka's great, right? But he's playing through injury, and he's been
Mm-hmm.
not to Luka standards, but
Mm-hmm.
it's Kyrie, dude. I mean, this is like Cavs Kyrie feeling, but more mature. I mean,
This
it's been crazy.
Yeah, dude, the stats that have come out where it's like he only averages 6 points in the first half, yet he averages like 24 in the third and fourth quarter.
Yeah, dude. I
Like,
mean, he
oh my
just
lord.
kicks it up a whole nother level.
And you
Okay, I
can
guess.
see the difference too. Is the thing. Like during the first half, they really like go like Doncic, like, get the ball in his hands, let him go to the free throw line, let him create himself. And when Kyrie has the ball, I mean, he's more pass first. Maybe I take the shot, whatnot. But that second half, the mindset kicks in, and this dude's doing step back fadeaway threes and just drilling them.
Dude, there's not a shot I don't think that Kyrie is not like comfortable taking. Whether it's leaning, guarded. I mean, hell, he did almost like a sky hook on damn Jokic for a game winner with his left hand. I mean, like
Yeah,
there's at the free throw
yeah.
line, like there's just nothing in his game that makes me believe that he's uncomfortable. Because even on defense, like I mean, he's not no Drew Holiday or Jared Vanderbilt, but I mean, like or Jaden McDaniels. He'll lock. He'll play defense. He'll be good. And yeah, it's that team. It's Jason Kidd having a defensive minded self, and then having some two almost unstoppable players. This is a very like Cavaliers, like early like 2014, 2015 Cavaliers.
I am also
Bill.
thoroughly enjoying the full confidence that Jason Kidd is having in his team.
Yeah.
I mean, if Luka wants a call challenged, more than likely Jason Kidd challenges it. If Kyrie wants the ball, Jason Kidd says, "Okay, team, give Kyrie the ball." I mean, just a full confidence, and I also think that also comes from Jason Kidd being a player and like having the success as a player that he did, but just seeing what he can do with Kyrie Irving, with Luka Doncic, being able to kind of manipulate those.
I think
Knowing,
so. I think that's where it comes into. So because he was a coach for the Nets and a coach for the Bucks, all those two have like went up and burned. He just wasn't a good coach. He just like he was missing. I feel like he got to the Mavericks, and because he played there before, I don't know he played as a Jet or as a Nets, but because he played on the Mavericks, he kind of carried the success of like the small men from the Mavericks because the Mavericks had Dirk, but that's about it. It was all the
yeah,
role players around Dirk. And I feel like that's kind of the feeling we're getting, but he's splitting it between Kyrie and Luka. And I'm almost getting like a Tyronn Lue in the beginning of the Cavs feel, where it's like you guys do what you want. I'll be drawing the plays in the back when it comes to the vital points, but you guys are good enough players to understand why you're here. And I think that's the coaching side that he's learned over the years. And then I think the Mavericks mentality is gelling the team up. So I think it's a healthy mix of them.
Yeah, just the way that the role players. I've talked about the role players of the Mavericks before because of the Clippers series, but PJ Washington was absolutely phenomenal. I mean, I think he had like 2 or 3 20-point games. Derek Lively in the paint was, I mean, going after everything. Same thing with Daniel Gafford. And the tough part is that like they had so many big men that if say Daniel Gafford was in foul trouble, well Derek Lively and PJ Washington and Derek Jones Jr. could step up. Say Derek Jones Jr. Well they still in foul trouble. Well they still had those 3 other players to kind of rotate or like and whatnot. So like to get the Mavericks in foul trouble, you really have to get like 2 or 3 players with those 3 fouls. And there were times during the Thunder series, like that game 1, where they were able to do it, but that's a very difficult task to do.
It is, and I feel like another thing is for the Thunder is that Lou Dort is someone that plays, and I told you this before, but Lou Dort is someone that plays the exact same, whether he has 1 foul or 5.
Yeah.
He will play with that tenacity, which is good, but is also his downfall. And so when you have
because
Luka, who it can, like you're saying, manipulate players to fouling and stuff like that, and then you have, Kyrie, who you just can't really stay in front of, and then you have Chet getting absolutely dogged by just insert name here. Like Chet just looked very uncomfortable, and I like Chet in the sense that he's a plug and play. And if he can have a big block game, he can be down low, or he'll just be a roamer. He'll make his own shots. It's very off and on, but the whole series, it's almost like they had an answer for him, and then forcing Lou Dort to be the secondary scorer because it seemed like Jalen Williams just didn't really. I don't know. Jalen Williams is the weird. The nights that he goes off doesn't feel like he's going off. It just he just has points,
And
So
he's one of those players where like you don't really notice it until he's not doing it. Okay, Buffett's like okay, but like on those games where he might only have 12 points, it's like wow. I definitely noticed that Jalen Williams was not making anything.
yeah, and it just seems like he's been kind of in the background because Chet's like rising up, and I feel like Chet is a better like plug and play than Jalen Williams is, which is just how Chet's game is. But when Chet isn't being that plug and play, then you're kind of forcing Jalen Williams to do it, or you're forcing Lou. And Lou Dort is just someone that is very off and on, and so is Josh Giddey. So you have 2 people, and they're off and on, but their strong suits are completely different. So you have Giddey, whose strong suit is obviously playmaking, but can suck literally everything else on the court. Then you have Dort, who, is fantastic defender.
That was a defensive messiah. I'm seeing what he's done in some of those games. Wow.
Yeah, I mean he's just an animal, and then he'll suck on every other part of the game. It's like we just need people to like be. This is gonna sound bad, like duh, but just be good. Don't like specialize. Don't be a specialist in one thing. Just be good. Just be consistent.
As I say, consistency. Consistency is a big thing because it feels like the only consistency is Shea, but at the same part,
and he's like
where.
No, like
once
for real,
he gets to that 30 points,
like you made a joke. He literally started playing different.
It's that, but where Shea is gonna get his. But at that point, that's where like Jason Kidd comes into play because Jason Kidd can now like pick and choose what he wants to do. Oh, we're gonna make Jalen Williams do this. We're gonna make Chet have to do this. We're gonna, he's being really consistent tonight, and he's being good with what he wants to do. So we're gonna kind of try to force him off. Like he doesn't have to try and force Shea because Shea's gonna get his. His mid-range game is absolutely unbelievable.
Yeah, mid-range and driving.
And so just seeing that, like, if he wanted to, like, he's able to switch the defense. I'm talking about Jason Kidd, just being able to the defenses make the other people uncomfortable when need be. Because that was the big thing, like you said, inconsistency.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. I hope they do get a big, whether they draft him, trade for him. We just need some size. I would love to see a Steven Adams back on this team. I know it won't happen, but just I would love to see that. But just
Yeah,
something. But I think I think that's
seeing
enough Thunder talk.
seeing a traditional big that won't get backed down by Kyrie Irving would be pretty nice.
Yeah, or at least just someone that like if they are killing on bigs, you can bring them out.
Yeah,
You know, they just devoted themselves to the small ball and then when they came across a big team, they're like, oh shit. But do you have what's your predictions on the Mavericks and
so the
Wolves?
this tough because me and you've also talked about this a little bit, and like the bigs of or the team of the Mavericks plays well against the bigs of the Nuggets, or not the Nuggets, the Timberwolves.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the big thing about the Nuggets is that their power forward was Aaron Gordon. And so you had Jokic who could guard one of the two bigs, or you had Aaron Gordon on the other one. And I was like, well, that's kind of tough. Because Aaron Gordon was good offensively, but defensively, you could do a lot to switch Rudy Gobert and Karl Anthony Towns and Anthony Edwards, and Mike Conley's a very good player to be able to manipulate offenses and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
But the Mavericks, I mean, they took game one, and Luka had 33, I believe. Kyrie had 30. I think I
Yeah,
think I think Mavericks in 7.
Mavericks and oh dude, I would love another set. This play is so good. Um, I don't know. So I'm in partial. So part of me would love to see mm, for the first time and Kyrie back in the finals. I like part of me really want to see that. Like that sounds amazing. But then the other
Luka
part of
in the.
me,
You said Luka for the first time, and I would also like to see what Luka does in the finals, and Kyrie back there. Yes.
well, and I really want to see what that takes him because I feel like he's a person that they just absolutely keep pushing to the goalpost for. He came on the scene as a rookie and did really, really, really well. And you're like, well, his defense is there. No, it wasn't there for 2, 3 years, and now his defense is there. And now it's like, oh well, he talks too much to refs. Oh, he may not. I don't know. And it's like, well, they just always make up things for him not to be as good as he is. And so I feel like if he's in the finals, like it's kind of like the hell you gonna say to me now kind
Yeah.
of thing. So part of me wants that. The other part of me wants to see Anthony Edwards in the finals. And most importantly, I want to see Mike Conley win a ring, dude. I would love to see. I was a fan because I had Rudy Gay, but I mean, he does everything the right way. Like he doesn't turn the ball over. He plays good defense. He's a good shooter. Like he's everything. I saw this on Facebook. He is everything that the Heat wanted Kyle Lowry to be.
Yeah. That's very good.
And I
Because the other
just
thing is Mike Conley has been on good teams, I mean, like you said, the Memphis Grizzlies with Rudy Gay, Zach Randolph, Marc Gasol. He was on that number 1 seed Jazz with Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert. He Timberwolves with Anthony Edwards, Carl Anthony. But he's been underrated everywhere. I mean, like you said, he takes care of the ball, doesn't turn it over, performs when need be. He's never been the superstar of a team, but it always seems like he's the conductor.
Yeah, a damn good one.
Yeah. And even Jokic
Yeah.
credited Mike Conley as well at the end of a press conference when Jokic was talking about the Timberwolves, saying, I mean, that's the team to beat us. They have 2 really good defensive people. They have a couple of stars, and I mean, Mike Conley's the most underrated player in the NBA.
Yeah, I have to agree with him. Gotta agree with him.
So, what's your prediction for that? Who do you got?
I think it's going to be Timberwolves. I think the defense that the Minnesota provides is killer. You know, I mean, they're gonna have whoever has the ball in not shambles, because the 2 people that's gonna have the ball is Kyrie and Luka, and we all know what to do. But the thing about them, about the Mavericks in general, is if they don't have the third random player going off, they, tend to kind of calm down. Like, against the Thunder, obviously it was the bigs, like we were saying. But I looked up the score for yesterday, and PJ Washington was the third leading scorer at 13. And then for the Timberwolves, you had 24 from McDaniel, 16 from Cat, 19 from Edwards. So you have the Timberwolves barely losing by 3, and Anthony Edwards only had 19 points. And this is a 33 game from Luka, which very well could be a playoff high right now, and then Kyrie having 30. So I feel like Luka is also really good about getting frustrated, and I feel like Jay McDaniels and Alexander Walker can be someone that frustrates him, into the sense that, frustrate Luka in the regular season, I don't want to see. Frustrate Luka in the playoffs healthy, I don't want to see. But the fact that he is banged up right now, I think does play a role in it. And I think he can also do things the wrong way, in the sense that instead of putting the team on your back and kind of stuff like that, he can actually hurt the team. So it'll be interesting, but I think I got to go Wolves. Honestly, probably 7, like you're saying.
Yeah. It's going to be,
they'll win on their home court.
Okay, so you have Wolves in 7. I have Mavericks in 7. Do we really need...
I can't afford.
That's funny.
I can't afford another date night.
I was gonna do want to make a bet, but I was like, no, I'll give his wallet a break.
There you go. Appreciate it.
Do we really need a prediction for this Eastern Conference Finals? I mean, I feel bad saying it like that, but I think Celtics
in
5.
Sweep the Pacers. I think they sweep.
It's looking like that because we do this pretty late at night due to both of our schedules at the moment. And game 2 is finished. The Celtics beat the Pacers, and Tyrese Halliburton went off the court with hamstring soreness. So there's that. I think, you said, I think not Pacers. I think Celtics in 5. I think they might get a game on their home court. Might. But I wouldn't be shocked if it's Celtics in 4 either.
Right. Oh, and also, Chris Tapps did not play in the Celtics game.
Oh,
So who
true.
knows? Who knows
Games 1
when?
and 2. He's supposed to be back here soon, so that also helps the Celtics.
Yeah, dude.
Get Porzingis a warm-up game or two before the finals. Helps out. Helps him out.
That's so tough.
Yeah. So it'll be Celtics versus whoever can come out of the East or come out of the West.
Yeah, which is funny because it's been like that since
It's
middle
been
of the
like
season,
that.
really.
Yeah, the entire yeah.
But
So
is there anything else basketball
with that
related?
being said, I do not believe there's anything else. Well, Cleveland Cavaliers fired their head coach after 2 seasons. Had a winning record as a Cavaliers coach. Still got let go.
Yeah.
And I'm just trying to make sure that we're not missing anything, but I think
I don't think
I
we
think
are. I
it's
think we
just
did.
just gotta see how things pan out. Josh Giddey, both cases got dropped. I say both cases, but the police said that a long time ago and said that they were going to drop his case due to inconclusive evidence, and the NBA closed their investigation as well. So he's off the hook with that. And that's it. That's all I got for this week's.
All right, cool. So you want to redeem yourself on Snap and I'll do the outro?
We're gonna try.
All
We're
right,
gonna try.
let's do this.
I gotta try to redeem myself.
Like the small. There you go. All right. Anyway, this has been the SNAP Snap.
There we go. I'm happy with that.